Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're discussing the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy when he disappeared on February 26, 2024, and he has not been seen by video. He hasn't been seen by a private citizen, and there has been no scent dogs to track his location, but we are told that he disappeared and last seen on February 26th. This child disappeared from inside an alleged locked home that has no signs of forced entry and no signs of him leaving the home. This tale started on February 26 when a call came in to the Sumner County non-emergency dispatch line around 6:33 in the morning. It was learned that Sebastian Rogers, an autistic and medically needy boy, seemingly walked out of his home and was never seen again. At least that's what we are led to believe. By February 27th in the afternoon, an Amber Alert was issued for Sebastian Rogers, alleging that there's a possibility of an abduction of this boy to have taken place. None of us were really clear at the time why this Amber Alert had surfaced, since they kept expressing that there was no possibility that led them to believe he was abducted. We fast forward to March 4th. March 4th was a critical and pivotal moment in this case, and that's when law enforcement decided to scale back their search efforts. This would have been communicated with the parents on March 3rd or before. On March 3rd, that was the first interview the mom and stepdad provided on a Duchess panel. On March 4th, they did their first mainstream media interview with WSMV. And both of those interviews were a little odd. We were unaware what had really transpired, and we were hanging on every word the mom and stepfather said. But there were some things that just didn't seem right. One of those things is their over-explanation of how he was not in trouble and how he had not been in trouble recently and how he had a good day and how they just are racking their brains and can't figure out why he would run away from home. Seth Rogers, the biological father of Sebastian Rogers, went to media and started expressing some concerns with the statements or the story that his ex-wife was providing. He just felt like something was off. By March 18th, on the Smiley's World interview and the subsequent interviews after that, such as Nancy Grace, it was clear that there was a meltdown between the family dynamic between the mom and stepfather and with Seth Rogers, the biological father. It seemed like the family unit that Chris and Katie were trying to proclaim was so great at the time of the son's disappearance has now have many public fractures in that facade. We still have no clue where Sebastian Rogers is, but what we do know is Seth has done everything we as the public expect. He's been out there looking for his son since day one. He's provided us his alibi and the supporting documents to prove his alibi, and furthermore has done a polygraph test on the Nancy Grace show, which was publicly released, identifying that Seth Rogers passed his polygraph test. So where do we go from here? The leads lead where they lead. Let's go through some of the information. We were told that this child had no history of running away from home, yet woke up in the middle of the night one day after having an amazing weekend and took off with not even his shoes on. We learned from law enforcement that there is no scent and no video of Sebastian on it, and there have been no eyewitnesses coming forward that have seen Sebastian since the infamous video at the Texas Roadhouse Grill. We were also made to believe that his life was a very normal life, and then we learned that this mom and stepfather, while trying to conceal the information, have been trying to rehome this child as early as October 2022, and since moving into their home on Stafford Court, have had 5 CPS reports called against them from third parties such as teachers. We were told from the beginning that all parents were cooperative. They've all taken a polygraph test. They are all cleared by law enforcement. However, we learned the only person that had taken a polygraph test was Katie Proudfoot. Chris and Seth had never taken a polygraph test, and again, for months, he proclaimed he had been cleared and passed his polygraph test. The mom and stepdad also stated on many interviews they were doing everything they can. They were searching, they were posting flyers, they were putting up signs. However, their neighbors and their community stated that that was also a lie. They had not seen them. And when they questioned them about it, they got into their camper and took off. The mom and stepdad were seen eating out during search efforts. We're seen motorcycle shopping during a vigil. And we learned that they went to a motorcycle rally while law enforcement was still searching for their son. For many of us, these are very disturbing and problematic behaviors and actions from the mom and stepdad, which is what raises red flags in our eyes and in our minds. Nothing has been stated to resolve that issue. And lastly, I also find it very concerning that Seth has provided his alibi with supporting documentation. Katie has provided her alibi, whether we believe it or not, she has provided it. The one person that has never provided us one scintilla of information related to his alibi or where he was during the time of Sebastian's disappearance is Christopher Proudfoot, the stepfather of Sebastian Wayne Rogers. And he still proclaims to this day that law enforcement has specifically told him and him alone not to reveal his timeline. Again, that's not something that is typical. Typically, the person that's the furthest away, their alibi has no relevance to the case. So since his has relevance to the case, wouldn't that conclude that he is an integral part of the Sebastian Rogers case? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channels on multiple platforms such as X, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, and hopefully TikTok if it survives January 19th. I hope you all have an amazing day. God bless each and every one of you that's watching this video. What we do know as fact, however, is that Seth has been searching for his son ever since his son disappeared. Seth has publicly taken a polygraph. He has publicly produced his work records. This man has done everything he could possibly do, including working with the FBI, working with me to advocate for his son, calling on the national media, getting Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter, and we're here with what from the mom and stepfather? Nothing for almost 10 months. Shoddy searches at best, working with an unscrupulous PI, felons, and including one searcher utilizing substances, illicit substances, while searching for their son. Well, good morning. Well, good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening, YouTube. Bullhorn Betty. If you guys have not seen me, I am the crazy white lady with the bullhorn in front of people. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I will go in front of people's houses as long as it's okay in that community. We're allowed to have up to 3 people in front of homes in the state of Florida now with the new law that hasn't quite been challenged yet, but at the end of the day, it's nice to see everybody. As many of you guys know, there's some new well, I guess not really new information. We're revisiting some old information. And of course, the America's Most Wanted video kind of came out. And so 5D did a great presentation on that I'm going to be playing here. And if you see right up here, it says the threats. That is from the Cliff Notes. I have not seen this yet. I just saw it come into my email. But this is an up and coming content creator that has been posting some pretty darn good clip videos about this case. So definitely want to throw that out there. I just dropped the link into the chat. We will probably go over this, but this was just dropped a couple hours ago. So you guys know how I feel about that. I'd like people to go over there, look at it so we can have a great conversation about it before I go over it. Pamela, holy smokes, thank you so much for the generosity for this show. I kind of fell over because I'm like, what, did I get something? Because I was on, obviously dealing with the little button things that you see down at the bottom when my intros are going in. And so I come back here and I see something bright orange, and I'm like, thank you for your generosity. God bless you for that. I do appreciate it. So as many of you guys know, we are going over the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. He's been missing since, we believe, February 25th. However, he was reported on February 26th around 6:30 a.m. and has not been seen or heard from since. It is great having all of you guys. I'm going to go up just a little bit and try to say hi to as many of you guys as possible. We've already got 282 people in chat, and we're going to get started very, very quickly into the show because I want to get to the information about what the show is about. The title of the show, what is Filicide? Many of you guys probably already know what that is, but I want to put this in perspective with the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. And so we're going to be taking, and we have been taking, a deep dive into one of the most perplexing and emotional cases, at least of recent history. Now, we've had some pretty stinking emotional cases, but this by far really is a very emotional case for many of us. One, this child has disabilities. This child is medically needy. He's a bright young man. Everybody that I've spoke to that has been around him or has been at school with him or knows him has always talked about his bright personality, his smile. And so we really want to emphasize that because many people believe that he was basically an infant trapped in a teenage body, and that couldn't be further from the truth. He is a high-functioning autistic child. He was working at the same grade as other 15-year-olds. He was just in a class that gave him an additional time to complete his work. It wasn't in some, special class that was several years under his grade. It sounds like he was bright. It sounds like he was smart. It just sounds like a whole host of things. And I think many of us, if he was in our family, would have loved to have been around him and get to know him, right? So with mounting questions, shifting narratives, and a divided public, the case has left a community heartbroken and a nation searching for answers. This afternoon, we're going to be exploring some key facts and I would say emotional interviews, but they're not, because the emotion's coming from us content creators that are putting the pitiful interviews together. The shifting narrative, the divided public, the case has left many of us seeking answers to the unending list of questions that keep coming about. We're going to go over one segment, which is going to be showing the dogs from the Spirit Seeker Squad. This was done May 14th, 2024. So darn near almost a year ago, but absolutely think it's relevant right here and right now. B. Betty, it's nice to see you. Lisa B. Always, YouTuber. Pussy Willow Pendercat, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Sonia is up in the house. Lisa B. Always, it's nice to see you. SJ, Melanie, SRK, hey, our beautiful Pebbles. Ding, 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 ding. It's nice to see you, Lovebug. Michelle as well. It's nice to see you too, Lovebug. I hope you're doing well. Who else do we have? Nani, good app. It's going to be so hard. We've been running a morning show for so long, trying to say good evening or good afternoon. I am finding being very difficult coming out of my mouth for whatever reason. Probably because I'm so used to saying good morning, right? Good morning. So it's nice to see everybody. Little Orange Man, good afternoon. Nothing but a thing. Hey, hey, hey. Our beautiful Brenda Brown is up in the house. Amy Lynn, Irony Rose, hello. Eeyore Blue, good afternoon to you. West Virginia Holla Girl, hey. Robin up in the house. It's nice to see you. Kiki, hey, hey, hey. Who is this? Judy Hosey. Good gracious, I can't read. Don't mind me. I've got a bright light shining right in my face. Regina, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Bullhorn Betty's here. The givers and the takers. Judy Jones, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Brianna's World, Show Poodles. Hey, 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 me and you. Terry, it's nice to see you. Turkey Man up in the house. You're asking us how all we're doing, and I hope you are doing, getting better and doing better. I know you had a lot of stuff going on in your personal life, surgeries, and the loss of your brother. So you've just been really in our thoughts and prayers. If anybody doesn't know who Turkey Man is, he's a pastor from Tennessee. I post a lot of his shows on my community tab. If you guys would like to check those out, please go over there and check those out. He definitely fills my personal sphere with a lot of blessings. So very, very thankful for that. Very thankful for that. Lulu Gumshoe, it's nice to see you. Hey, hey, hey. Truth in Time. Mom first, always. Oh, by the way, I know that Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I know we do have some people that have lost their children. So I know that this past Sunday was more of your day than what will be this next Sunday. So I just want to tell everybody, I hope you guys have a blessed week. Even through all your struggles, I hope you're able to look upon a memory and smile for those that will not be celebrating your Mother's Day with your children here on earth. But I do pray you still have some blessings and some positive and happy memories this Sunday. And for all you other beautiful moms, grandmothers, and aunts, I just want to tell you congratulations for not being on the Bullhorn Betty channel. You guys made it. You guys made it, okay? A little satire in there for Mother's Day. It's always nice to see you guys. Raymond, hello. It's nice to see you. Roxanne, good afternoon. It's nice to see you as well. And we're going to go over one it's actually a fairly big misunderstanding, and we're going to go over that before we start in on our show. Jackie, Grave Crime with Grace, it's nice to see you. Nanette, hello, it's me, Jen, up in the house. Jamie, Connie, it's nice to see you as well. TD Dean, hello, my love. Sharon, Diane, it's nice to see you this evening. Suddenly Sally, reminding us it's Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone. The hen house is up in the house. It's nice to see you, Love Bug, Mama Bear, Nicole, hey, hey, hey. Lakeith, it's nice to see you, my love. I see somebody, I didn't say hi to Hindsight, but she was responding back to Hindsight. So Hindsight, it's nice to see you. Melanie's got a big day tomorrow, so let's make sure that she is in our prayers. Tuesday, she's been trying to keep herself busy and her mind occupied and away from everything. So please, please, please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Lucille, it's nice to see you. And Raymond, a 1 month member. Wow. We are Sebastian's Army. We will not stop. Amen to that. Lady for Justice, it's nice to see you as well. Izzy Girl up in the house. Hello, my love. Patty, it's nice to see you. Hopefully we're getting closer to the end. Amanda, hello. Detective Whiskers is up in the house. Mary, it's nice to see you. Dawn, Southern Charm, I'm sure Southern Grammy's up in here somewhere as well. Whispering Winds, it's nice to see you. Hello, hello. Who else do we have? Let me just keep going. I'm sure there's somebody I missed. Amanda, it's nice to see you. Frank, hey, hey, hey. It's nice to see you, love. I think I said hi to Robin, but I'm not sure. Robin, if I didn't say hi to you, hey, hey, hey. I know I got you this morning. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Melanie thank you. God bless you. Stephanie's up in the house. SCP Foundation, it's nice to see you. Thank you for liking the show. Melody, it's nice to see you. Josie, hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. Let me keep scrolling. I think we got a few more. Nicole, it's nice to see you as well. Kennedy. Raymond gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership from any of our members or subscribers, please don't forget to tell those members or subscribers, thank you. And for those that received a gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. You're going to need a straitjacket and a padded room. Welcome aboard. Keep all arms and legs in the tram at all time when it's in movement. I got time. It's nice to see you. Hey, everybody. Hey. Thank you for the love and the support for 8 months. BMW is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Aw, Brenda, thank you for the super sticker love. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the love and support. It means a lot to me. Flamingo Lisa, Doris, it's nice to see you. I think I got everyone so far. I'm going through, making sure I didn't miss anybody at the tail end here. Elisa, it's nice to see you. Michelle, hello. I think I'm at the end. And Shirley H, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Thank you guys for being here. So as I told you, we're going over the case of Sebastian Rogers. We're going to kind of step back into time just a little bit, and we're going to be seeing and watching a video that Spirit Seeker Squad. Oh, thank you, Melanie. God bless you. We're here for you. We're going to be praying for you for tomorrow, everything. Mama Rissa, it's nice to see you. And so this particular video goes all the way back 11 months, and how important it is in this purpose today, right? This particular video right here, which again is a conversation between an ex-PI, which once her contract or Seth told her to stop, she should have no longer been fielding calls with Christopher Proudfoot. Her job was done. And this is one where she carries on this conversation even days after Seth told her to take a break. And so this information, although she wouldn't hand over the videos to her client, these videos ended up getting leaked. How convenient. How convenient. Peggy, it's nice to see you. So this first one is going to be talking about another case that wasn't widely known that I covered, and that was the Kathleen Moore and Colin Knapp case that was out of Pasco County that was captured in the Spirit Seeker Squad segment. And it's kind of interesting because we knew where she was. We could not get to her. Law enforcement really didn't want us back there. We asked them if it was still a crime scene. They said, no, it was not a crime scene. We could go back there. They just didn't want us back there. So we opted to go back there. And there was a huge swamp with water moccasins in it that was between us and the gate to the back of Colin Knapp's home. We learned from another person being out on the streets and strumming up, because it was very upsetting. This was off the heels of Gabby Petito. And this lady, obviously wasn't white with blonde hair and blue eyes. And so she was getting literally no attention from media. No Spectrum, Bay News 9, which is local here, no WFLA, no ABC, no local newspapers, nothing. So I got out there on my phone, right, and set it up and basically called the news stations racist. And again, I utilize whatever I can utilize to get the attention necessary for the cases. Do I believe our local news is racist? No, I do not believe our local news is racist. But you know what? It put a bug in their butt, and next thing you know, you got several TV crews out there. Okay, that it's just it was what needed to be done. It was what needed to be done. But that was an area that had been searched. We were told it was cleared. We were told there's nothing back there. We were told all this, all that. And I knew that she was back there. Jonathan knew that she was back there. We knew that she was right there on that fence line. We knew it. So much so that we took pictures of the area and posted that day on Twitter. So Twitter captured the time and date, and if you look at the media, it was a day to 2 days after, because we could not sit there and work that case anymore. We had a flight out to Tennessee. We were heading to Tennessee to start the Summer Wells case. And before we left, a friend of Kathleen's went inside the house with Colin, and we were waiting outside to record what they said happened inside the house. And as soon as he talked about a broken gate, now mind you, I was already on the back side of that house, and I knew that there was no possibility of FBI or anybody breaking into that side of the house because of the condition on the back side of that fence. And when they said that back side of the fence was broken, I knew right then and there. I remember we were packing up, getting ready to leave, and I remember saying, I know she is back there. As we were leaving the state of Florida and heading to Tennessee, the news broke that they found her, and they found her in the exact place that Jonathan and I had been screaming on Twitter they would find her. So I'm glad for one of the neighbors going back there, and I'm glad that they were able to recover her. And she was literally 50 feet away from the backside of his home. So in this segment, they're examining, because it has to do with overlooking remains, right? That area was cleared by law enforcement, nothing to see over here, much like that little boy in Twin Rivers, Wisconsin, Elijah Vu. Again, another child, another person that had went missing and had huge ground searches for him, including dogs, horseback, ATVs. And this particular area where Elijah Vu was found had been searched multiple times. If I had to say a half a dozen times or less, he was searched for in this very, very specific area, and they did not find him. It took hunting dogs and hunters being out on the land and the dog getting away, unearthing Elijah Vu, and it looked like he had been there since the whole entire time, because the brush at this point had already started growing over his remains. So this first segment, we're going to be discussing. This is going to be examining critical issues that have emerged related to Sebastian Rogers' case, and it's predominantly related to the search of the dogs and why he is failing to allow another dog searcher to come on the property. Well, hello, my friend. It is nice to see you, my love. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and just get on in it.
Just to Seth, once again, he wants to talk about not responding or whatever.
Please don't mind.
I got in touch with Tony. We talked to Tony. That probably ain't happening. Got in touch with the dog handler. Guess what? That ain't happening either. And that ain't even on my decision.
Yeah.
Because Seth doesn't know how to open his fat fucking mouth and give her
fat fucking mouth. Now, this is Seth's son that disappeared from these two people's house. I don't know how you would feel as a parent especially when you got two parents being evasive, failing to help search, knowing that they're military trained and they won't even schedule a proper search with proper volunteers. They're so scared of everybody, right? So scared of everybody, it's an excuse to hide out. That's all it is. It's an excuse to hide out. It's an excuse not to be present. It's an excuse not to participate. It's an excuse. It's an excuse as an excuse as an excuse. Why would two parents that loved a child walked out of their home, not help in the flippin' search? Doesn't make logical sense. We're not going to say it does. So they're going to be discussing these searches, these dog searches, because Seth, at this moment, wants Chris to talk to the dog handler, which is Julia, and also work with Tony Mathis for a united front for mainstream media purposes in the presentation of the family and the wishes of the family, all three of them, not just Seth. Tony wanted to help all of them, wanted to be the voice for all of them, a united voice, exactly what Christopher Proudfoot wanted. But when he got what he wanted, he pissed all over it. Let's be honest. He pissed all over it. Why would anybody piss all over opportunities like this? I don't know. So let's keep going.
Everybody the truth, or what he does know, he didn't want to tell nobody, thinking that everybody's going to be serious sympathetic to his bullshit. When I told her exactly how many dogs, where they all went, what they've all done, she's like, there's nothing I can really do or offer at this point other than to assist in a search if needed.
Yeah. Oh, so you did actually talk to her?
Oh yeah, talked to her for over an hour and I think a half.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Last night.
That's good.
So once again, your client was the nicest way to refer to this fuck.
I haven't even talked to Seth since last night. He told me to take a break a couple days ago. He told me to take a break. So
yeah, how convenient.
He tells his PI to take a break, and she's on the phone still collecting information. Doesn't sound like she took a break. Okay, so yes, GA64, I have information on the body found in Clarksville. Again, I don't know who it is. I didn't check into that after the fact, after I read it, because they had EMS out there and called it a DOA, basically dead on arrival, and at the scene. So not at dead on, but you know what I'm saying, deceased at the time. The person was deceased. That tells me a lot. First, it tells me there's tissue on the body because it's a body and not remains. We know that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has been missing for well over a year. And because they had the EMS out there, that means that it was somebody, to me, that most likely had recently passed away as opposed to not. They referred to the person as a man and not a boy. So while we don't have specific answers on that, we do have enough to at least allow us not to believe that it's any relation to any of the cases that we've been covering. So that's as much as I can tell you. I'm not sure who it is. But right now it appears that the person recently passed away. So there is that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I told my mom I'd at least see her tomorrow because she knows I'm going to be gone for the next probably week or so down there in Tennessee. So then she's like, you go find that boy after that with your dogs. I'm like, yes, ma'am, we'll do that. So
I gathered, now this is just me assuming, so we know that how that goes. I may be way off, but I feel like it had something to do with this conversation with Bobby Simmons, because Bobby has started communicating with him again instead of going through me. That line of communication's opened back up, and I don't know.
We'll see for how long.
Yeah.
We will see. I promise you, if Bobby...
This is a man that is just literally a step parent. Okay? He, no matter how much he thinks he's got this or he's in control of this, that, or the other, he's a freaking step parent. He has no bearing on anything to do with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers in a legal sense. He cannot make decisions for this kid. He cannot make medical decisions. He may be on a form here and there, but this is not his father. He does not have a right to dictate what law enforcement tells the actual father. And this idea, it's telling me right here that he does not want Seth knowing something about what law enforcement knows about Sebastian. And how dare any step-parent want to willfully obstruct a real parent, a biological parent's knowledge of what's going on with their child, especially when they're as involved in the child's life as Seth is. I find it appalling. I find it disgusting. And this is the way this man's behavior has been. He acts like Seth needs to bow down and kiss his ass. This is a problem I have had with this man since the beginning of this story. This kind of nonsense right here. He feels like he's all so powerful and he holds everything. He dictates everything. And you know what? Sumner County has supported some of this behavior by Sumner County supporting his behavior and doing his bidding. Let's not forget that. And I will never quit putting that opine in there.
Told Seth anything of what he's told us, Seth opens his fucking mouth. I promise you, it won't ever open again.
Yeah. Well, I'm just as much.
I would think this man has a lot of people that can't open their mouth indefinitely around him as is, to make those kinds of threats when everybody's looking at this man as thinking he had something to do with the disappearance of his stepson. I am surprised that law enforcement has no problem with this man out here threatening literally everyone. And Sumner County too stupid to do investigative work to see this behavior, or they're just willfully and blissfully unaware of it.
Much in the dark right now about what's going on as anybody else. Like, I'm not getting updates. I have no idea.
You're supposed to love your children more than you hate each other.
So, and that's what anybody who's reached out to me, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you get in touch with Chloe?
What's that?
I said, when you get in touch with Chloe, I suggest you tell that bitch to lose my fucking number.
This is Colin's house. We'll put a C on there. This is house number 1. This is house number 2. And
now this is where Spirit Seeker Squad is now dovetailing to Kathleen Moore case to support why it's so important to constantly be checking the same areas over and over again because things are missed. Here is one good example of how law enforcement cleared the area and missed the person.
dogs have already been back there. I know I keep repeating this, and I know I sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm trying to let it sink in. Dogs already searched this area. Dogs already searched Ben Hill Road for Summer Wells also. The dogs have already searched. So is it possible that Summer Wells has been overlooked, the same as Kathleen Moore had been overlooked? Is it possible that when this search was done on the property of the Wells home, inside the Wells home, around the Wells home, a 5-mile radius around the Wells home, is it possible that Summer Wells has been overlooked? Is it possible that she is in one of these areas that we have pictures of? Now we're going to watch what the sheriff had to say on why the dogs overlooked Kathleen Moore.
I can say, she is deceased. Today, we positively identified her body based on tattoos. Nicole came in around 11:30 this morning that she was discovered in the woods off Kamala Drive, which is, she was about 50 yards northeast of Colin Knapp's home. And so it's a very heavily brushed area. She was actually covered. You can almost describe she was definitely covered on purpose to make sure nobody can come upon her. And, even as detectives will tell you, even when you're 2 feet away from her, it's hard to see that her body was there. I will say, Canine did track that area. Canine did track that area. She was definitely covered on purpose to make sure nobody can come upon her. And, even as detectives will tell you, even when you're 2 feet away from her, it's hard to see that her body was there. I will say, Canine did track that area. Canine did track that area, but there's several factors that come into it, wind, weather, decomposition. So, they did their best, but that wasn't just the focal point as we were looking at this investigation. There was an investigation. There was numerous places that we had looked at, the dumpster where the cell phone was found, at Sam's Cluster's restaurant, the dumpsters that were brought to a location to go through. And I want to reiterate that. There was a lot of evidence that had been found as dumpsters. And when that was found, there was 14 additional industrial-sized dumpsters that went out there that our detectives combed through. Over 20 detectives were combing through these dumpsters because that's where all the evidence was leading to.
A football field, hidden by the environment on purpose. Law enforcement stood 2 feet away and couldn't tell that she was there. So is it possible that Summer Wells has been overlooked?
Is it possible that Sebastian Rogers has also been overlooked? It wouldn't hurt to get a second set of eyes out there, right? A third set of eyes, a seventh set of eyes out there. What would that hurt?
But yeah, we can talk about this one. Actually, JB, did the boyfriend live that close to the area? Yeah, it's extraordinarily close. This is the row of homes on Carmel Avenue where Colin Knapp lived or lives. And of course, he was denied bond earlier today. I tweeted that out as well. So Colin Knapp being held on second-degree homicide and will not be released.
Dogs do not always find human remains after they're deceased. They had the dogs back there within a week of Kathleen's murder. Her body was just placed.
I just want to let you know, I went into JV Buno's channel and started screaming at him while he was live on a different topic. He was still doing the day that we were out there for like a week. And the time that we were, excuse me, and the time that we were out there, they were covering still some reminiscences of Gabby or some other case that was going on. And I'm in his chat while he's live saying, why is nobody out here covering Kathleen Moore's case? And as you see, sometimes one voice can make a difference in these cases. And that's why I'm so public. That's why I go out there in the streets and do sign wavings and other things, because some of these cases get no attention. This would have been one of them. Had it not been for the work that me and Jonathan did on this, we were the only two out there.
There within the week. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the nasty details about decomp. We've all seen what happens with roadkill. Okay, that's a decomp process. Human bodies go through something very similar. And the odor is an odor that you will never forget. Unfortunately, myself, I have smelled a deceased body. And that is a smell that you will never forget. I promise. Kathleen Moore's body was right behind this house, right here, right through their backyard and into this wooded area right here. And nobody noticed an odor. The dogs were back there within 5 to 7 days, I believe. I don't know.
Not only did nobody notice the odor, let me tell you from my perspective, not only did nobody notice the odor, there were no bird activity. When I walked behind, I think it was past a house that was 4 houses down, maybe it was 3 houses down. There was crows sitting on top of the house. That was about as much bird activity that I saw in the area. That whole thing of vultures and stuff doing the circle and this, that. Yes, that does when they have a great line to whatever their food is. But when the food is obscured or covered or buried, you're not going to see that activity. And in the case of Brian Alondri, similar situation. We were trying to look up. We were trying to hear if there was any type of movement from wildlife. And we kept hearing this buzzing sound, but we could never locate the buzzing sound. And I truly believe the buzzing sound we were hearing were the flies around. I mean, it was a loud buzzing sound, and it was not coming from the power lines out there. It sounded like wings of insects, but we could never locate the sound. So just FYI.
Exact date that the dog was back there searching right now as I'm recording this video. But I know that it was fairly quickly since she was reported missing.
Thank you so much.
Last seen alive on November 28th, and her remains were discovered on December 7th. So again, I ask, is it possible that Summer Wells has been overlooked? The reporters just asked about the dogs not finding Kathleen during their search. And the sheriff is getting ready to elaborate a little bit more than he already has. So let's listen.
One of those things, it's just one of those things that, we're human beings. We did our best. We've done our best. We had drones up. We had deputies out there. We had canines out there. And it's one of those things, she was a very wooded area, covered up, wind, weather.
Did you just hear that? Dogs, drones, deputies. And she was overlooked. Dogs, drones, and deputies. Triple Ds. And she was still overlooked.
We had drones up. We had deputies out there. We had canines out there. And it's one of those things, she was a very wooded area, covered up. Wind, weather, decomposition, those all play factors in a search. So I'll go back to it. It's everything in life works better when it's a team. And that lead our citizens, we mean it. We want our citizens to work with us.
We want our citizens to work with us. Why? Because sometimes citizens actually help. In this case, this is one of the cases that when people ask me, what did you ever do? The Kathleen Moore case, because we have documented proof that we showed exactly where she was 2 days before they finally located her. All right, guys. So as you guys heard, segment 1 went over why it's so important to do multiple searches, never just go with 1, 2, 3 searches. Elijah Vu being the closest prime example of why, because if it wasn't for the determination of the local community, week after week after week, getting the search efforts underway, these were private citizens. This was headed by Elijah Vu's grandmother and mother's mom, which was very vocal about her own daughter and her own daughter's culpability, most likely in this situation. Girl Mom, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Juicy Jules, it's nice to see you. Amber, it's nice to see you. Thank you guys for being here. And there was something, before we go over to our next segment. Oh, and here's a good question. So when dog handlers are told that ain't happening, when search offers are refused, we ask why. What harm could another set of trained eyes and noses possibly cause? And this was within 2 months of Sebastian missing. 2 months, by May 2024. Almost 3 months, but not quite. The offer was provided to this family for additional resources that they turned down. Let that sink in when it comes to the Sebastian Rogers case. As soon, not a year later with all the harassment and stuff like this, right? These were offered back at the end of April. Within 60 days of him missing. And the mom and stepfather turned it down. Who turns down? Who that's actively looking for their child turns down any help? For example, Brandy Vaughn. Okay, this is Michael Monkey Vaughn's mother. These hate channels had this woman spinning. She thought I was coming out there because this is their MO every case, right? Oh, Bullhorn Betty's coming out there to protest in front of your house. Even though I say repeatedly over and over and over and over again, I'm on a fact-finding mission. I've never hid any type of protest. I would never hide any type of protest because I need to make sure I'm safe and I need to make sure law enforcement's safe. So when I schedule these protests, whether they're in front of somebody's house or not, folks, I get law enforcement involved immediately when I know I'm going to do this. There's no misconceptions. There's no hiding of information. I don't do that. But these people repeatedly always say that. And Michael Monkey Vaughn's mother was absolutely scared, terrified of me coming into town. Terrified. And you know what she did? She met with me. She met with me and she still wanted to tell me her son's story. Little did she know before I met with her, which many of you guys know my MO, I do fact finding. What does fact finding mean? It means I dive into these cases and I try to find the truth. When I go out there, before I speak to parents, I meet with a bunch of people to uncover the truth, because when I ask questions to people, I want to know the answer before they answer. That's why. And so I had done my due diligence before I met her. I met a lady that was watching her frantically search for her son. I spoke to a neighbor down her road that talked about the family, knowing the family had lived there 60 years, 40, I think he said 60 years. He had been there for a really long time. His house didn't look that old, but apparently he has been in that house for a very long time. And it is so important, because even when parents are scared or being harassed, because let's face it, Michael Monkey Vaughn's mother, Brandy, and her boyfriend or fiance, Tyler, were harassed a lot from people online, thinking that they had something to do with it. And she didn't run away. She didn't put her tail between her legs and run. She ain't military trained. But her fight has always been to bring Michael Monkey Vaughn home no matter what. She is willing to go into the lion's den to bring her son home. She was absolutely terrified of me because of other people's assessment of me that was totally bogus. It's terrified this mother to death. And she still put her big girl panties on and met with me and interviewed with me, not knowing what I was going to ask her or say about her. Parents don't need scripts on what to do. They just want answers. And this man and Sebastian's mom refused help at a critical time in the case. Within the first 90 days. They said, nope. Nope. Brandy met with me months, almost a year after her son disappeared. Still fighting for answers. And it was before she even knew of the Wanderers, because I had to take a second trip out there to visit their home. So we had that. And again, what harm could another set of trained eyes provide? They didn't care. Why? All right, so this next one is from 5D, a little bit of a longer video. It's about 30 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to kind of play the ending of it. And the reason why I'm playing the ending of it is because obviously I want you guys to see it. This was just provided recently, whereas Spirit Seeker Squads was over a year ago when, she produced that. So I didn't have as much of a problem sharing something that's, almost a year old, as opposed to somebody that has just recently put out a video. I want them to, they work hard on this stuff, and I want them to get the credit. So I'd like you guys, if you'd like to see this video, please, 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 please go over to, that's kind of where I want, right there. Please go over to 5D's channel. If anybody has 5D's channel to plug here, actually I'm on it right now. This is the video that I'm covering, but you can sign up to 5D's channel through this link here. Spirit Seeker Squad, thank you so much. It's me, Jen. Please don't forget about Spirit Seeker Squad. Did a lot of great work and still is covering this case. Now, before we get started on this particular one, Katie and Chris Proudfoot appeared on national television. But what they chose to say, and more importantly, what they chose not to say, raises eyebrows. America's Most Wanted host Harris Faulkner pressed, well, I said she pressed hard, but in all fairness, I'm unsure if she really did. I think there were several known facts misconstrued on one of the most powerful networks in crime-solving cases. And that was a little problematic for me personally. But questions about why the couple left town during the investigation, why they avoided eye contact, and their calm demeanor during interviews sparked concern. Katie's explanation that she was looking at a photo of Sebastian felt hollow to many viewers. Their excuses for leaving town, Chris was going back to work, yet their behavior did not match the desperation of parents whose son had vanished without a trace. Even more troubling were the discrepancies in the timeline, odd choices in storytelling, and a complete lack of urgency in their responses. So here we go. And this right here, as you see, it's 5D's assessment that this was intentionally left out of the America's Most Wanted show. And I'd have to believe these important details would have mattered in that presentation.
Strong. That still to this day, when me and his mom started dating, they had cats. And I am allergic to cats. So mom made the choice. They got rid of the cats so we could reject them, keep our life moving forward together.
Because it's all about them, don't you know? They don't really care. They never even cared to back all the way back these years ago about Sebastian or his feelings. It was always about Chris and Chris's feelings and how he wants things done. It has always been like that. It's still always like that to this day. And so I was thinking of something funny. That's why I stopped it. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. Hey, Aussie True Crime, Scotty Too Hottie, Lost Voices with Jackie. It's nice to see you. This is what I was going to say. I now know how to repel Christopher Proudfoot. I'm going to go over to my mom's house and bathe in her cat. I'm going to rub the cat all over me. And I'm going to, next time I have to go to court, that's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing the cat. Okay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm bringing the cat. Perfect Chris Proudfoot repeller.
Sebastian will never let me live it down.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, you know, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work.
Chris wants to tell you, he wants to tell you, everyone listen, myself and anyone who will listen, that the reason he didn't get home till 1:30 or 2, leaving the job site at 11, I don't know if he specifically said 11, but he probably did, was because no one was there to relieve him. BS. He was off. On the same day, his stepson goes missing.
So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, we laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you got to knock it off and you got to go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay.
So that night you go to bed at midnight after you've been talking to Mr. Proudfoot on the phone. Earlier you had stated you heard a noise in his room before you went to bed. What time was that?
Around 10 o'clock.
And if you notice, that has changed now too. It is no longer 10 o'clock. It's now 10:30. And if you notice, her going to bed at midnight, which we've known for a year at the Dateline interview, it's now been reduced to 11 p.m. that she went to bed. 11 p.m. We've been told for a solid year it was midnight. Remember the very first midnight, right around I was in bed and asleep by midnight. By midnight. Now, I know we got some pressing stuff going on here because, let me see, we'll go right here. I know Justin for All is starting at 6:15, so I'm going to try to wrap up here shortly so we can all go to Justin for All's channel. So just bear with me, please.
What jewelry she wanted. It wasn't a conversation on where Sebastian could be. It wasn't a conversation on what he could be going through. It was a conversation about what Chris's mom's, what jewelry she wanted. What jewelry she wanted Chris to buy her on their next vacation trip.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere, like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
And again, 30 minutes ago, she just learned that her son's missing. No window down, all for show, right there. Yep.
They use helicopters, they use drones, they use ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search.
On his own. I was like, where's your belt? And got it. Whack. Got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it. That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house. Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible that I was going to get in trouble over something stupid. And I was like, no, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished.
He always got punished. This boy didn't leave his house. He didn't do anything wrong. He definitely wasn't a Betty. Right? I was stealing my mom and daddy's car in the middle of the night and going joyriding. I was really breaking the law when I was his age. I was going out getting in fights, being an unruly child. And do you know, I wasn't in near as much, I was in a lot of trouble. Don't misunderstand Bullhorn Betty. I was in a lot of trouble. But this boy is in more trouble than Bullhorn Betty at 15. Now, I want to just bring up the fact that my mama was pulling Old English 40-ounce bottles out from under my bed when I was Sebastian's age. And I still wasn't in as much trouble as this boy always seems to be in. I just wanted to put it out there like that to people. Because I don't think people quite understand how much trouble this young child was always in. He was tormented. Absolutely, Misty. Absolutely. 100%. And Lisa B. always said it best. I think she hit the nail on the head. She said months and months ago, I can't remember when, but I know I've coined it from her from months and months and months ago when we were having our discussion here. And it was like a light bulb went off on my head when she said that it appears they were trying to discipline Sebastian into normalcy. And when you hear Chris and you hear how he talks about him, it truly feels like Chris believes that he could do it if he really wanted to. That's how you hear this man's demeanor and how he speaks of. He could do it if he really wanted to. He just ain't trying to do it, so we're going to punish him until he gets it right. That is why that has resonated. That statement from Lisa B. always has resonated with me so much. So there's a disturbing backdrop to Sebastian's final days at home. A CPS report triggered by that when Sebastian went to school with marks after being disciplined, mandatory reporters flagged it. Soon after, discussions began sending Sebastian to facilities. Too many. This timing feels like more than a coincidence. Was the pressure of parenting a special needs teen too much? Or was there something more sinister behind their moves? It wouldn't be the first time a caregiver attempted to relinquish responsibility under the guise of concern. Let's keep going. Where's my time? Okay, we're doing good on time.
And he was like, but, and I was like, you got punished. And the lady took him outside. She goes, Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished.
I'm not going to listen to that.
To be a retaliation for that report getting filed, that they weren't going to wait, 4 or 5 more months. They were going to go ahead and send him off, November, December.
A stranger to everyone else. We also have to consider he could have left on his own volition.
Him telling me that my son was missing, my son has never been an eloper. He's never been one to go missing. Never have I ever had the phone call ever that my son was missing.
We know children on the autism spectrum tend to wander. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of all children on the autism spectrum will go missing at some point from their environment.
But we know that that's not the case for Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. Elopement happens at a younger age and persists into their adulthood.
Wow. But I think something caused him to flee his home.
The case, especially within the first 48 hours, was just shrouded with the belief that he was a runaway. And that's, that was a huge hindrance, obviously.
That into the open arms of a predator? Or was there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down through the neighborhood?
I don't think he left the house on his own. I don't see how he walks out the front door, the back door, any other door, and dogs don't hit on a scent that is that fresh.
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes according to his mom.
According to his dad. Another issue that I had with that was well known that the father had brought up the stink about that. So multiple times Sebastian loves shoes was mentioned. His shoes were always on because of a fire incident as a child. He feared going barefoot. So how does a boy with autism, known for routines and sensory aversion, leave in the middle of the night barefoot, without a switch, without a coat, and without a trace on security cameras? This isn't consistent with voluntary elopement. It raises the specter of foul play. Now we're going to get into another. And
as soon as I walked in, I remember walking up to the stairs, nobody saying anything. I opened the door, I walked in. The first thing I looked down at the left, and there was Sebastian's shoes. There was his old pair of tennis shoes.
Oh, sorry.
We're sure hoping it was, but we're sad to report it wasn't.
Sorry.
Well, I don't see how he walks out the front door, the back door, any other door, and dogs don't hit on a scent that is.
What do you think about that thud noise that she described, the rustling that was going on? I thought about it. I've looked at the house. He's lit. His room is on the first floor, right? So his window is accessible from the outside.
It would be, I believe, but I know law enforcement went around the house and stated that none of the windows or screens had been tampered with. So as for the thud, I mean, I don't know what she would classify as a thud. If I heard something in his room I know I'd go check on him just because I want to make sure he's okay. I mean, he's got a medical condition that would definitely mean I need to go check on him just to make sure he's okay.
It's a big question. Were they secure? Because if they weren't, could mean one of two things. That thud, him responding, was someone else in there with him?
Or someone was with him and going.
Exactly.
So I do want to bring up this home security camera footage. This looks like foot traffic right in here.
Yeah, if you look at the footage here, you can see subject number 1, allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing.
And Mama herself says, oh, a flashlight's missing. Again, that's such an odd thing for her to know is missing until they show her video that looks like a flashlight. And then the stepdad says, well, we were sure hoping it was, but we're sad to report it wasn't a flashlight. Well, if you've got 2 flashlights out there, why are you glad that it's not that? That, to me, would signify that somebody was out there in the wee hours of the morning with 2 flashlights, meaning 2 separate people, the night your child went missing. I mean, it's just odd.
So you consider that, it does look like 2 people holding flashlights.
Yes, that paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
So as you hear, this now goes down to the flashlight and shadows. The camera footage showed 2 figures with flashlights in the area around the time Sebastian vanished. A flashlight was later noted as missing. Why would the family mention a flashlight only after being shown a video? And why seem glad it wasn't from their house. The footage and reaction point to a narrative that has been shaped rather than transparently told. 2 flashlights, 2 people at night, and a child disappeared. Now, the experts like Elizabeth Smart, Derek, and Payne Lindsay have weighed in. Many believe Sebastian didn't leave on his own. The lack of cameras, the silence of the night, and the medical concerns all support this theory. However, some, like Callahan here, believes that it's possible he left on his own, fleeing from something. So now we're going to get into why I produced the thumbnail that I produced, and it's because of the statistics. So as we're ending our show, and just to remind you, we have Justin for All on Clutch Them Pearls. He's going on, I believe, at 6:15. So I'm going to wrap this up so we can all go over to his channel once I'm done here. And this is the analysis of disabled children. So I pulled statistics that I think every single one of you need to hear. And this is from, the first one's from a 2013 study, FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin of 2013. And it says, in child abductions, homicide of children under 12 years old or over 80% over 80% of the offenders were known to the victim, and nearly 60% were family members, primary parents, step-parents, or guardians. That's for children under the age of 6. He's not under the age of 6. According to data from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, of the child abduction homicide cases they track, over 70% involve a predator, they say perpetrator, known to the child. In familial abductions, most are resolved safely, but in cases that result in death, the perpetrator is typically a biological parent or parent figure acting out of custody dispute, mental illness, or abuse. Okay, thank you, Girl Mom. I'll check it out before I close out my show just to see if it's something I can speak of or not. Let me know in the email if I'm not. In a similar study of murder in families, Filicide, a parent killing their child, was the leading form of family-related child homicide. The leading form of family-related child homicide. So the idiots on these streets that says, hey, why are you looking at the last person that saw the child? Well, it's because it's standard operating procedure. Just saying. In households where children were reportedly missing and later found dead, the mother's boyfriend or stepfather was frequently the perpetrator in younger children. Fathers and father figures, including stepfathers and mothers' boyfriends, accounted for up to 61% of all child homicide offenders in families. 61%. How about this statistic? 76% of children abduction and murders are killed within the first 3 hours of the abduction. 76%. When a perpetrator is a parent or a guardian, there is often no prolonged search because the child was never truly missing in the classic sense. The disappearance is frequently staged. In suspected foul play cases of missing children, particularly when there is no credible witness to an abduction. Okay, listen to this. Let me rephrase this. In suspected foul play cases of missing children, which we're in a suspected foul place of a missing child, particularly when there is no credible witnesses to an abduction, the child vanished from their home or nearby. These are statistics. These are real statistics. You can go check them out for yourself. The caregiver was the last one to see them alive. Then the statistic likelihood heavily favors a parent or a caregiver as an offender. Hey, Narita, it's nice to see you. Would you like statistics about children with disabilities and risk of abuse? Because here's a statistic for people, and this is a recent statistic for people. This is related to children with disability and risks of abuse. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Children's Bureau 2023, very recent. Children with disabilities are 2.7 times more likely to be a victim of maltreatment than children without disabilities. 2.7 times more. The perpetrator in over 90% of substantiated cases is a parent or a caregiver. Autism and increased risk. The National Autism Association, nearly half of the children with autism will wander or elope at some point, which Callahan specifically stated. But Sebastian is not part of that statistic. He is not an eloper. He's never had a history of eloping. And all the professionals tell us that if a child's going to elope, they start younger in years and it persists with them until adulthood. They're more likely to wander and have close calls with drowning in traffic. He's a high-functioning autistic child, so he is not a wanderer. They don't have to worry about when the car stops. Like Mr. and Mrs. E, they've told me stories of, them being concerned that their child may just jump out of the car or something like that. So they put precautions in place, but their child has these preconceived notions to do these things, whereas Sebastian Rogers did not. And it's just the degree of autism that each other has. There's a lot of differences in them. Cases involving foul play. Cases that involve foul play, the abuser is typically a caregiver who is overwhelmed, untrained, or resentful of the child's needs. CDC morbidity and mortality weekly report had mentioned children with autism or intellectual disabilities face a higher risk of death from external causes such as suffocation and homicide. Homicide risk is highest in non-accidental deaths before 5, and in over 75% of those offenders are parents or guardians. This is related to this chromosome deletion syndrome. Specific data on homicides involving children with rare genetic syndromes, which is interesting but not shocking. It's limited due to the rarity, but broader findings applied. Children with physical or cognitive impairments are more likely to be victims of filicide or negligent masking as missing, especially in low-resource households or abusive environments. Caregivers may fabricate missing reports to conceal neglect, abuse, or death due to medical negligence or intentional harm. And 4 case study trends for filicide and disability. The multiple case review of fatalities report disabled children are killed by parents or caregivers in 75% to 85% of fatal abuse cases. Most common cited motives include altruistic filicide, the belief that the child is suffering, resentment or burden related to caregiving, mental illness of the parent. When a child is missing, is nonverbal or low verbal, has autism or chromosome deletion development condition, is dependent of others for safety, and is last seen with a parent or guardian, then the statistics and forensic risk models indicate a high likelihood, over 75%, that a known person is involved in cases where a child is later found harmed or deceased. Those are the statistics. Those aren't my opinions. Those aren't your opinions. Those aren't law enforcement's opinions. When people tell us that we are on the wrong track, I disagree, and I disagree wholeheartedly. Why? Because yes, we do have outliers. This isn't the case. This isn't the outlier case. You know what was the outlier case? Charlotte Senna, a child that was abducted by a stranger danger in a park. All statistics would tell us that that child would be dead within 3 hours of that abduction. And by the grace of God, she was able to come home and come home safely. That is an outlier. That is an outlier. This case here is not an outlier. I truly believe the statistics are spot on for the Sebastian Rogers case, which tell us it was somebody that was known to him and most likely a caregiver that either harmed him or unalived him. And that is the true, hard, cold facts. What is filicide? It's when a parent takes their child out. God bless each and every one of you. I will see you over at Justin's channel. That gives you 10 minutes to get your potty break in, grab yourself a snack, get yourself a drink. If you found this video or live beneficial, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you would like, there, I was just about to get there, Maria. If you'd like to donate, give a super sticker, a super thanks, please by all means, do so. I want to tell everybody, especially the graciousness of Pamela and everybody else that helps support this channel on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, whatever you guys can do, it does go to a good cause. Right now, I wish all of our money was going to these cases and these kids, but you know the situation. I'm hoarding this money for my attorney, and so I appreciate all the love and support that you guys have been giving me. So Pamela, I want to thank you for your graciousness this evening. Raymond, Thomas, thank you. We are Sebastian's Army, and we will not stop. I want to thank Melanie, Raymond. I know there's somebody else here. It's me, Jen, for donating Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership either from Raymond, Melanie, or It's Me, Jen, please don't forget to tell them thank you. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjackets and your padded room. I want to give a big shout out to I Got Time Today for being an 8th month member. Another gracious donor. Brenda, thank you so much for all your love and support, along with Melanie. Thank you so much. Kiki says, pulled out what sounded like a phone call. What KP says in the background, in my opinion, please listen and give your opinion. I'll have to do it at a different time when I'm not crunched on time. I think I may have answered this. I listened to your live this morning. I respect your thank you. I respect your passion 100%. You are a great lady. Thank you. I did get some things wrong, and we're going to be going over some of those things. Now, Grandma still knew what was going on, but I don't think some of her speech was directed toward her granddaughter. She was bouncing between stories with her daughter and stories with her granddaughter, and I've got to show you the difference. So I did get clarification, but we want to make sure that that is stated for the record. Girl Mom, thank you. I'll have to check the email now. Maria, thank you so much. And Tori, God bless you. Thank you for being with me for 8 months. All this love and support really does help. Give me just a second. Let me see here. If anybody is blocked, I see there's a few people reaching out to me thinking that they're blocked. There's 2 things that could be going on. If you're just recently subscribed to this channel, it takes a full day before you can comment. So if it's not been 24 hours since you subscribed, that's most likely the reason. If you truly believe that you are blocked, please send me an email with your URL. Okay, every single person has a URL associated with their ability to have, believe it or not, you have channels too. And your channel is what allows you to view me. Okay, if you didn't have a channel, you wouldn't be signed up there with that little emoji over in the corner, over in the right-hand corner of your screen. If you have an emoji over there in the right corner of your screen, you are signed in. That is your channel. Send me the URL of your channel, and I'm happy to look at it and see if anybody recalls why you would be on. Sometimes things just happen, especially when we have lots of people in the chat. It's easy to accidentally try to get a troll, the screen move up on you, and you tag the wrong person and not realize it. So it does happen. We do work through those. So if you have been blocked, please just reach out to me with your URL. I can't do anything with you without your URL because there's no possibility of me finding you. I have literally over 2,500 people blocked on this channel. So I'm not going through 21 or 2,500 people to find your name. So if you would like your block to be lifted, if you truly in fact are blocked, I need your URL. Let me just check. And sorry, I was going through my emails and I saw somebody in here, Heidi, that thinks she's blocked. If that's the case, please send that over. I don't know which one you are, girl mom. I don't see the email in just yet. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it. I don't see your email, girl mom. I don't know if it came through or maybe you got my email right or wrong. Resend it to me. Also, one last thing, there is an ugly rumor going around that Michelle Lee was arrested. That couldn't be further from the truth. I don't know who's passing around that horse crap, but she obviously has done nothing wrong and has broken no laws. I doubt she's going to jail. So with that, I bid you guys adieu. Thank you for being with me this Monday. God bless each and every one of you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be, girl mom sent it on May 1st. Resend it. So it's at the top. It's going to be hard for me to try to find it. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless you guys. I'll see you over at Justin's channel. See you soon. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.